In 2003, you guys released Phenomenon. We've talked a little bit about it. So this is the first album with Tooth and Nail. There's four singles, Phenomenon, Rockfist, Bounce, and This Is a Call. Phenomenon and Rockfist both go to number one on christianrock.net. What did it mean to you to have, we talked about earlier, you got a little bit of local radio play, and it's one thing to hear your song on radio for the first time. That's super meaningful. But what does it mean to you when you get steady radio play and you're getting that support at radio?
I mean, man, it was incredible. It was something we never really had before, to that extent. And so to have people to have help, from people at a label who who were great at what they did, and we learned a lot from those guys. And there was definitely it took a village to roll things out there, and that label was great at it. I think, yeah, looking back there when it comes to radio, I mean, yeah, that was and still is, such a big part of it, man. And you always felt, I remember just always feeling so blessed and honored and appreciating every single ad that we would get, yeah, it still means a ton. But I remember then, personally calling every one of the stations and just being like, guys, like, thank you, this is this is incredible. So yeah, those were amazing times, man, for sure. We were kind of figuring out too, finding our own voice, I think, in what we did. We had come through a scene where rap rock became a real big moment in music for a while there, through bands like Korn and Limp Bizkit and stuff like that. And love both of those bands. But for it became, even though we had been making kind of using rock and rap for a long time, once that really hit, people were like, "Oh, so you're trying to do the Limp Bizkit thing," and we always loved those dudes, man. But like, incredible band. But it was, yeah, that's. But we were just trying to be us, It still felt very authentic to us. So Phenomenon was a record where I remember just, and it was like it felt organically like we were like, you know what, let's dive a little further into experiment, just being creative and having fun in the rock lane. Let's dive a little bit more to the rock side. There was still lots of, I think, hip hop influence on that record, like percussiveness musically and the grooves and percussive vocals and things, but less actual sort of direct hip hop influence. I think in that one was intentional to just kind of be like, you know what, let's explore this more.
And this album was produced by the band as well as Aaron Sprinkle. So he worked with Amberlynn, Newfound Glory, Story of the Year.
Yeah.
How did you guys connect? And he ended up being kind of like a lifetime partner with you guys.
Yeah, Aaron, man, it was such an awesome experience to meet Aaron. To this day, we became kind of longtime collaborators, him and I. He had produced like over 200 records at the time, and I remember just being amazed by this guy. And I feel like as a band too, every producer you get a chance to work with, I would encourage any young bands out there, but just like, man, soak it in, see how they do stuff, see how they think. And every one of us as producers is different, and so everyone that I got to sit under, I got to see how they did it, and you get to, you can learn from them. There's a lot that we can all learn from them. And yeah, I really enjoyed doing that with Aaron. He was someone, there are few times in your career that you meet someone where you have such a chemistry that you can kind of finish each other's musical sentences, and he was one of those people for me. So we stuck together through FM Static albums, a bunch of those, through a bunch of TFK and some other bands that I worked with along the way. So he's an incredible talent and just an amazing human.
You get your first Juno nomination. This is for Contemporary Christian Gospel Album of the Year. It's crazy. Starting with this album, you basically every album got nominated for a Juno after that. This first one, what does that first Juno nomination mean to you? This is Canada's Grammys. This is your country acknowledging your hard work, your talent,
Yeah.
and your music.
It meant a lot to us, man, for sure. I think that was, as a Canadian, just growing up listening, and by this time realizing that like the Canadian music scene was a really special thing, that there were bands that we grew up and loved who our American friends had never even heard of. It was like, man, so it was one of those things where, yeah, it meant a ton to us. And the craziest part about that is, man, we never actually got to attend the Junos to this day. I've never been. We were always playing so many shows that we just could never be there. And so it was such a big honor. And I remember, yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking that we weren't able to attend those. But big shout out to the Junos, man, and love what they're doing for Canadian music.
We have a fan question. This is from Dva
Mm.
Seljaka. And the question is, can you share the story behind my favorite song, I Climb?
Wow. Okay, you're taking me back.
Way
Yeah,
back playback.
yeah, man, absolutely. I Climb was thinking back. I remember I Climb was a song that I remember came to me. I was actually in our hotel room in Seattle, Washington, and working on that album when that idea kind of came to fruition. And I had some close friends and experiences in my life that had kind of shaped what that song ended up being about. And it was, that song was about some abusive experiences that some friends close to me had experienced in their home growing up, and it was about the idea of you know home not being a safe place for everyone. You know, for some of us it really was, and for some of us it really wasn't. And that song kind of touches on that and some of the emotions that go along with that, and some of that traumatic feeling, and just, yeah, it touches on that sort of painful experience.